Thank God it's Friday. So welcome back to another Friday Night Rex, where every Friday I would recommend a book and a movie that are very similar to each other. And if it just so happens that you read the book, you can at least go watch the movie. Or if you watched the movie, then you can go ahead and read the book. Or if you read the book and watched the movie, then you can close this channel. But anyways, let's get started. So this week's recommendation is actually a fantasy recommendation. And now you might be thinking, Lisa, you hardly read any fantasy novels. How could you possibly recommend me a fantasy novel? Well, I'm going to recommend you the two fantasy novels that I have read because that's that. But also it's in relation to the movie that I want to recommend you guys to watch. So yeah, we're gonna wait for it. So the book that I want to recommend you this week is actually Pestilence, and the second book, War, by Laura Thalhauser. So Pestilence, if you guys haven't watched my darker romances video that I should have been putting up before this one,
Oh, hi, thanks for checking in. I'm still a piece of garbage.
it's about the Four Horsemen. So it's a part of a series, and it's obviously 4 books, and it's about the Four Horsemen. Pestilence just so happens to be our first horseman, and he has the power of spreading plagues and illnesses to the whole wide world just to kill off the human civilization. So what would happen if our heroine tries to kill Pestilence and Pestilence getting really angry? Well, Pestilence will kidnap the girl and basically drag her through like cities to cities just so she can see his power and just to see like this is what happens if you fight me because I'll cause more pain and suffering to your human race. So yeah, very great. It's a very good dark fantasy romance that I would definitely recommend you because it really kept me into the world where the earth was dying, and I would probably have died on page 1 if not the mentions page because I could never survive that. The second book is called War, and War actually came out this year, and I liked it. I didn't give it as high as a rating as Pestilence because I was kind of like taken aback by the story of War. So War is our second horseman, and War has the power of basically killing you in a war. So yeah, he has a whole army of people and dead, so he can raise the dead, and he uses the dead to kill off the people who are alive. So yay, that sounds like a great time. But then War meets our heroine, and all of a sudden they kind of have this love at first sight kind of madness, and he's like, you're my destined, you're my wife. God sent you to me, and we're destined to be with each other, even though you're human and I'm a god and I have to kill everyone around you, but and possibly kill you too. So yeah, we can kind of see why I didn't really like that one because the plot was kind of a little fuzzy and it wasn't as realistic as the others. But I still would recommend the series because I'm definitely going to read book number 3 and book number 4. And I am a total fan of Laura's. And if I had time, I will go back and read all her novels. Now, the movie that I want to recommend to you is actually a foreign film. And before you click out of this video, listen guys, do not be afraid of subtitles. Do not be afraid that everybody is a different skin color from you. And do not be afraid of those things. It's great to branch out into different countries' films because then you get to learn more about the cinematography, you get to learn more about the culture, you get to learn more about the people, and you might also pick up a new language. So the movie that I recommend this week is actually called Along with the Gods. And now this is actually a Korean fantasy movie. And if you guys are new to me and new to being my friend, well, I'm actually a really big fan of Korean culture and Korean dramas and Korean movies and Korean songs. As you can tell by the posters on my wall, they're all Korean related things. But regardless, Along with the Gods, The Two Worlds was a very, very popular movie in Korea when it first came out. It's like an action thriller and fantasy movie that really got like the public's attention, so much to the point that they actually made a sequel to it, and I did watch the sequel and it was pretty good too, and I would recommend that, but it's too many movies and too many books that I'm recommending to you already. So Along with the Gods, The Two Worlds actually starts off with the story of a firefighter. Now he's very noble, he is a really good firefighter, and he's pretty young, like he's only in his mid-30s, and he goes up to a burning tower building And he knows that, you know, like if he goes back in, he might not come back out. And that's exactly what happens. He kind of saves someone from the building and falls out of the window, and suddenly he gets back up and he thinks he's alive, but he's actually not alive, and he actually died in the accident. And all of a sudden he meets these three Grim Reapers. Now, these three Grim Reapers describe themselves as lawyers, and they are the lawyers that will help you protect you from all the gods that you have to go through. So there's a lot of phases in the afterlife where a lot of gods kind of judge you for your character and for who you are, and then they decide if you should spend the rest of eternity up in the heavens or you should die and burn and suffer in the multiple hells universes that they have for you. So this is such a gripping movie because you got to learn more about this firefighter and his story and all the defenses that the Grim Reapers have to put up because all the gods are kind of going against him. And this movie was so dramatic. It was so well done. Like the CGI work was so great that I was so captivated by it, and I ended up crying a lot of the times because there's also a very emotional factor and there's an underlying story to it that really will trigger you if you're the type to get really absorbed into a movie. So I would definitely recommend you to watch this movie. Now, you guys might be wondering, okay, Lisa, it's a Korean movie. Like, where can I watch it? Well, also, I got you guys, because this movie is actually on Netflix. Canada, at least. And if you guys can't find it on Netflix in the country that you're living in, you just need to type in the movie, and then you need to type in English subs, and it's probably like the first link that you'll find on Google. It's a streaming thing. It's the thing we do. We stream our dramas, we stream our music, we stream everything. So here's a movie for you to stream. I promise you it's worth it if you guys hate streaming, because it's such a good movie and I can't recommend it enough. So until next week, I'll see you guys again with another book and movie recommendation. Bye!
Can't let you go. I can't let you go.